Hello, my name is Roberto Treviño Cervantes, and I'm going to talk about the effects of human activity in the biosphere. Like every other life form, humans need Earth's resources to support their own life. But along with civilizations, the needs have increased. This may in part be due to agriculture, as it allowed us to become sedentary species. But as every other invention, it has evolved, and modern day agriculture techniques have allowed to double world food production. A great example is monoculture, which is the practice of clearing large areas of land to plant a single highly productive crop. Agriculture has allowed for great growth of cities and dense human communities. And as most of the required energy comes from burning fuels, it has damaged our environment. But this doesn't mean that humanity has to stop its growth, but instead to search for new ways to do so. But there is a way. Sustainable development provides for human needs while preserving the ecosystem for the next generations. It should cause no harm to the soil, water, and climate, but neither should it stop growth. There are two types of resources, one of which sustainable development relies on. Non-renewable resources are the ones that cannot be replenished within a feasible amount of time by the ecosystem. On the other hand, we have renewable resources, which can be replaced by a healthy ecosystem in any given time. This kind of development allows for growth without damaging the environment. Soil is one of the most important natural resources, but most of the time it is not considered so. But our society relies on agriculture, which in turn relies on soil. But soil is being damaged, and one of the main causes is erosion. It occurs when land is left plowed and no longer are there roots to hold the soil in place. This is what's known as desertification, which happened to the Great Plains in the 1930s. Likewise, for many of the same points, deforestation, which is the loss of forest, can also have a negative effect on soil quality. Not only there are no roots to hold the soil in place, so trees are wood sources, protect the quality of fresh water supplies, and absorb carbon dioxide. Even though forests can regrow, it will take centuries for succession to produce mature forests. This is why they are considered non-renewable resources. Sustainable development allows us to minimize soil erosion without having to compromise growth. A pollutant is a harmful material that can enter the biosphere. Primarily come from industrial and agricultural chemicals, residential sewage, and non-point sources. But once a pollutant enters the biosphere, due to biological magnification, its growth can never be stopped. And this can hit us harder than any other species, as we are usually in the top of every food chain. Sustainable development can also help here, as we can filter the pollutants before they enter in great amounts into the biosphere. The biosphere can easily be polluted, and this can have direct effects on health. This can cause respiratory illnesses such as asthma or skin diseases. Pollution is easily seen as smog in large cities, a grain-brown haze formed by chemical reactions among pollutants. Or also acid rain, which occurs when we burn fossil fuels that release nitrogen and sulfur compounds, which then mix with water vapor in the air to form nitric and sulfuric acids, which then come as rainfall. These problems all rely on greenhouse gases, which do not allow heat to be released into outer space. Also particulates, which are particles of ash and dust released by certain industrial processes and diesel engines, which can then enter the lungs and cause further health problems. Sustainable development here is trickier, as air flows, so pollutants and particulates have to be banned in order to really get them to stop to pollute air. Biodiversity is the total of all genetically based variation in all organisms in the biosphere. First, we have genetic diversity, which refers to the sum total of all different forms of genetic information carried by a particular species. Hereof, species diversity refers to different species in the biosphere or in a particular area. And finally, on the top, there is ecosystem diversity, which refers to the variety of habitats, communities, and ecological processes in the biosphere. As we can directly recognize it, we often do not think of it as a natural resource, but it is one of the most important as our life based on it, and we should take care of it. Thank you for your attention.